I don't think we've reached the top yet. I bet there's some kind of secret passage around here. It's smarter than I've ever heard before. Look at this place. This has to be it. I knew she was deep into necromancy. I mean, she taught me everything I know. But I had no idea she had a setup like this. Look at all this. She must have spent years collecting these components. And what's this thing? I'm not sure about this circle, but it's obviously something. Let's take a look around. There has to be something here that tells us where she's gone. My mother was meticulous about her research. If we can find her notes, there might be some hints in there. Not that I ever saw. My mother had a bit of a thing for magical constructs. Not what you're thinking. She just found them fascinating. I had no idea her laboratory... She had an alchemy set up in her drawing room, but nothing that even comes close. Looking at the equipment and materials, it looks like she was trying to advance... I don't know. Certainly not longevity. Kind of a waste of time for a vampire. Keep searching for her notes. She probably had a journal or something. Any luck yet? You did? Let me see them. I only know what she told me. She had a theory about soul gems, that the souls inside of them don't just vanish when they're used. They end up in the soul cairn. The soul cairn is home to very powerful beings. Necromancers send them souls and receive power. My mother spent a lot of time trying to contact them directly, to travel to the soul cairn itself. That circle in the center of the room is definitely some type of portal. If I'm reading this right, there's a formula here that should give us safe passage into the soul cairn. A handful of soul gem shards, some finely ground bone meal. Oh, damn it. We're also going to need a sample of her blood, which, if we could get that, we wouldn't even be trying to do this in the first place. Not bad. We'd better hope that's good enough. Mistakes with these kind... Anyway, enough of that. Let's get started. Oh, good. Well then, let's head over to the portal vessel and I'll do the rest. Then the rest is up to me. Are you ready to go? I'm not entirely sure what this thing is going to do when I add my blood. Of course. What is it? I've been asking myself the same thing since we came back to the She was so sure of what we did to my father. I couldn't help but go along with her. I never thought of the cost. Possibly. I guess even a vampire. She worried about me. About all of us. But she wanted to get me as far away from my father as possible before he really... Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. I just didn't expect anyone to... Are we ready then? All right, here goes. Right at home in this place. You'd be wrong. Let's just find my mother and get out of here.
Damn Akaviri shaman. How could I know it would track my soul? Are you alive? Who's been watching this? Return to the front line Alessian headquarters at once. Lives are hanging in the balance. Damn Akaviri shaman. How could I know it would track my soul? You knew I had something?
You must help me find my Arvak. He doesn't deserve to be in a place like this. Arvak, my horse. We came to this horrible place together. We were attacked by monsters, so I... Please, he's such a loyal creature, and he's been running for so long. You have to save him. A place like this will change you. Arvak! Arvak! Where are you? Arvak, please come back! Come back!
I heard stories about the soul care, but never thought I'd see it myself. So far, it's about what I imagined.
There's no escape. Well, look, let's just say I sold something to a guy. How in the name of Xanathar was I to know the ingredients were phony? Do I look like someone? You got it. Horse, wagon, and all. Plucked here without... I used to be one of the best traders in High Rock, you know. People... Then... And what exactly are you going to pay me with? Take a look around. Gold doesn't exact... I'll tell you what. I appreciate what you're trying... The only thing I see around here in abundance are soul husks. You know, those ugly... Bring me, say, 25 of them, and you can rummage through what was left on my cart. Odds and ends I've gathered over the years. Well, tell me what you're looking for, and maybe we can make a deal, if you have the husks. No husks, no sale. Guess you have some scavenging to do.
Mother? Mother!
Maker. It can't be. Serana?
Is it really you? I can't believe it. How do we get inside? We have to talk.
Serana, what are you doing here? Where's your father?
He doesn't know we're here. I don't have time to explain.
I must have failed. Harkon's found a way to decipher the prophecy, hasn't he?
No, you've got it all wrong. We're here to complete the prophecy our way, not his.
Wait a moment. You've brought a stranger here? Have you lost your mind?
No, you don't...
You, come forward. I would speak with you. So how has it come to pass that a vampire of mixed blood is in the company of my daughter? Safe? You call bringing her here safe? Has she explained nothing to you? Serana has sacrificed everything to prevent Harkon from completing the prophecy. I would have expected her to explain that to you. You think I'd have the audacity to place my own daughter in that tomb for the protection of her Elder Scroll? The scrolls are merely a means to an end. The key to the tyranny of the sun is Serana herself. When I fled Castle Volkihar, the scroll I presume you found with Serana speaks of Ariel and his arcane weapon. The second scroll declares that the blood of Cold Harbor's daughter will blind the eye of the dragon. Like myself, Serana was a human once. We were devout followers. Tradition dictates the females be offered to Molig Bal on his summoning day. Few survive the ordeal. Those that do, we call such confluences the Daughters of Cold Harbor. Now you're beginning to see why I wanted to protect Serana, and why I've kept the other Elder Scroll as far from her as possible. If Harkon obtained Ariel's bow, and Serana's blood was used to taint the weapon, in his eyes, she'd be dying for the good of all vampires. And how exactly do you plan on completing the prophecy without the death of my daughter? If you believe that, then you're a bigger fool than I originally suspected. Don't you think I weighed that option before I enacted my plans? You care nothing for Serana, or our plight. You see the tyranny of the sun as your chance at deification, and like Harkon, you won't hesitate to destroy anything that stands in your path. Serana? This stranger may call herself vampire, but she knows nothing of our struggle. Why should I entrust you to her?
This stranger has done more for me in the brief time I've known her than you've done in centuries.
How dare you! I gave up everything I cared about to protect you from that fanatic you call a father!
Yes, he's a fanatic. He's changed. But he's still my father. Why can't you understand how that makes me feel?
Oh, Serana, if you'd only open your eyes. The moment your father discovers your role in the prophecy, that he needs your blood, you'll be in terrible danger.
So to protect me, you decided to shut me away from everything I cared about. You never asked me if hiding me in that tomb was the best course of action. You just expected me to follow you blindly. Both of you were obsessed with your own paths. Your motivations might have been different, but in the end, I'm still just a pawn to you too. I want us to be a family again. But I don't know if we can ever have that. Maybe we don't deserve that kind of happiness. Maybe it isn't for us. But we have to stop him, before he goes too far. And to do that, we need the Elder Scroll.
I'm sorry, Serana. I didn't know. I didn't see. I've allowed my hatred of your father to estrange us for too long. Forgive me. If you want the Elder Scroll, it's yours. Your intentions are still somewhat unclear to me. But for Serana's sake, I'll assist you in any way that I can. Yes, I've kept it safely secured here ever since. Fortunately, you're in a position to breach the barrier that surrounds these ruins. You need to locate the tallest of the rocky spires that surround these ruins. At their bases, the barrier's energy is being drawn from unfortunate souls that have destroyed the keepers that are tending them, and it should bring the barrier down. One more word of warning. There's a dragon that calls itself Durnevere. The Ideal Masters have charged him with overseeing the keepers, and will undoubtedly intervene if you're perceived as a threat. Harkon's vision is a world plunged in eternal darkness. What he fails to realize is how much attention would be called to our kind if the prophecy if eternal night fell. There are many who wouldn't stand for it. They would raise the order of the day would be our destruction, until every last vampire was hunted. I do. It's how the vampire has survived for millennia, and the only way we can continue to survive in the future. As you've been traveling in the Soul Cairn, your body has been, let's just say, a tiny part of you rubbed off on it, and in its place. You should find no difficulty using the portal any longer. When I entered the Soul Cairn, I had intended to strike a bargain with the Ideal Masters, the custodian. I requested refuge in the Soul Cairn, and in exchange, I would, if I had foreseen the value they placed on my own soul, I would never have come here. The Ideal Masters unleashed their keepers, and fortunately, I was able to hold them at bay and retreat into these ruins. Unfortunately, since the keepers weren't able to claim my soul, they had their minions construct a barrier that I'd never be able to breach. Time has very little meaning to me. Consequently, it has... I suppose you could call this the ultimate waiting game. Each watching the other to see which. I know very little about them. They're mystic entities that lord over the Soul Cairn, controlling every aspect from its fabric. Well, some necromancers believe they are the crystalline structures dotting the soul. I believe there's more to it than that. I think they transcend what we perceive as a physical. Perhaps they were once corporeal beings, but they've obviously reached a point where they no longer require a tangible presence. Conduits, through which the Ideal Masters speak to their underlings and feed on their... The Ideal Masters' weakness is their insatiable... It's the reason for the Soul Cairn's existence, and the only leverage a necromancer has when bargaining with them. The ability to summon powerful undead guardians, as one would conjure an Atronak. However, the majority of necromancers that are foolish enough to enter into a bargain with the Ideal Masters wind up here, as harvested souls.
The sooner we get out of this place, the better. Relieved. All those things had been building for a while. You have no idea how long I wanted to say that to her. Look, I loved my father, but when he found that prophecy, that became his life. Everything else, even me and my mother... I was close with my mother, but she just kept feeding me her opinions of him, and eventually I started believing them. The moment we gave ourselves to Moloch Ball, things got real. They were both drunk with power, and And then he found that prophecy, and... that was it. I was. Honestly, it took me up until now to figure out that my mother was... He was obsessed with power. She was obsessed with seeing him fail. It was just so... toxic. Maybe I could have seen this coming. We could all be better off now. You don't know what it's like, coming from a family like that. Everything eventually tumbles down to you. Anyway, we should keep moving. Just what my mother told me. I've also studied a little bit on my own. When something is trapped in a soul gem, and then the energy is used for powering an enchantment, the remnants are sent here. Well, I think it's specifically the black ones. I don't know if the Soul Cairn takes just any leftover. Look at this place. The only things that can survive here are the Ideal Masters, the undead, and the souls themselves. Well, if you want to call that living. I don't think anyone's ever met the ideal masters. I'm not even sure any... They could be underground, flying above us. They might be the ground, I have no idea. Lots of theories. Some say they feed on them like I feed on... Others think they use them as payment to an even higher power, almost like a currency. Whatever they're doing with them, they've been harvesting for millennia. No telling how many souls are trapped here. Look around you. There are some even a necromancer as seasoned as my mother would be willing to spend years trying to gain access to them. Exactly. It's a lost art. Most necromancers just raise up whatever bodies are nearby. A simple trick, really. But bringing something from the soul cairn gives you something much more powerful. Well, that's usually the trick. It's possible to do it through a simple... But to finalize the deal, you have to travel here yourself. And most of them never come back.
Arvak! You saved him! His soul is free. He's such a loyal beast. Here, I'll teach you how to call him to you. He'll help you get around this wretched place. But I'm sure he'd be much happier someplace sunnier. Goodbye, hero. Take good care of Arvak for me. Such a good horse.
You managed to destroy all 3 keepers? Yes. Please follow me. Keep watch for Durnevere. With the prison's barrier down, he's almost certain to investigate.
She's leading us.
Forgive my astonishment, but I never thought I'd witness the death of that dragon. Forgive my astonishment, but I never thought I'd witness. Volumes written on Durnevere allege that he can't be slain by normal means. Unless... the soul of a dragon is as resilient as its owner's scaling high. It's possible that your killing blow has merely displaced Dernevir's physical form while he reconstitutes himself. Minutes, hours, years. I can't even be... Now, let's get you the Elder Scroll and you can be on your way.
She's leading us to the scroll.
Now that you've retrieved the Elder Scroll, you should be on your way.
I'm glad you're here.
Now that you've retrieved the Elder Scroll, you should be on your way. I have no choice. As I told you before, If I return to Tamriel, that increases Harkon's likelihood of bringing the tyranny of the sun to fruition. I appreciate your concern for me, but Serana is all that I care about. Remember that Harkon is not to be trusted, no matter what he promises. And promise me you'll keep my daughter safe. She's the only thing of value. Did you have anything to ask before you depart? Even if I could, it would only serve to hinder your efforts. Harkon would likely sense my return to Tamriel. The last thing you need right now is a trail for him to follow. Like Serana, I am a daughter of Cold Harbor. A vampire off... My presence in Tamriel would simply double the risk that Harkon could... The only way I'd even consider returning to Tamriel was if Harkon were not only to fail. You must understand, he's no longer the... He's obsessed. Insane. For all of this to end, he must die. Farewell. Remember that Harkon...
Stay your weapons. I would speak with you, Quinarin. Cursed, not dead. Doomed to exist in this form for eternity. Trapped between Laas and in... I believe in civility among seasoned warriors. My claws have rendered the flesh of innumerable foes, but I therefore honor name you Quinarin, or Vanquisher in your tongue. Your words do me great. My desire to speak with you was born from the... I merely wish to respectfully ask a favor of you. For countless years I've roamed the Soul Cairn in unintended service to the Ideal Masters. Before this, I roamed the skies above Tamriel. I desire to return there. I fear that my time here has taken its toll upon me. If I ventured far from the Soul Cairn, my strength would begin to wane until I will place my name with you and grant you the right to call my name from Tamriel. Do this simple honor, and I will fight at your side as your Graze Mazen, your ally, and teach you my Thum. Trivial in your mind, perhaps. For me, I don't require an answer, Quinarin. Simply speak my name to the heavens when you feel the time is right. In my language, the Quinarin is the vanquisher, the one who has bested a fellow Dova in battle. The Dovahkiin, the Dragonborn. You may not be one of us in body, but you have earned the right to bear this title. There was a time when I called Tam. The Dova roamed the skies, vying for their small slices of territory. I was. But unlike some of my brethren, I began to explore what the Dova call Elok Gillan, the ancient forbidden art that you call necromancy. The Ideal Masters assured me that my powers would be unmatched, that I could raise legions of the undead. In return, I was to serve them as a keeper, until the death of the one who calls herself Valerica. I discovered too late that the Ideal Masters favor deception over honor, and they had control of my mind, but fortunately they couldn't possess free. No, the Soul Cairn has become a part of what I am. I can never fully call Tam. I only hope that you will allow me the precious moments of time there, through your call.
I wish you could come with us.
May your next fight bring you victory, friend. And what do you plan to do with it? Do you even know what you're asking about? I knew it. Everyone comes in here expecting an Elder Scroll is an instrument of... To read an Elder Scroll, a person must have the most rigorously trained mind. Even so, the Divines usually take the reader's sight as a price. Ah! You think that even if I did have one, it would be kept under the highest security? The greatest thief in the world wouldn't be able to lay a finger on it. Of course. I'll bring everything we have on them, but it's not much. So don't get your hopes up. It's mostly lies, leavened with rumor and conjecture. Here you go. Try not to spill anything on them. Archmage or not, my rules about books still stand. All this knowledge might have been lost were it not... Aye, that's the work. He's the world's master of the nature of Elder. He's been gone for a long while. Too long. Somewhere up north. He said he found some old Dwemer artifact, but well... haven't heard from him since. I don't care if you wrote it yourself. If you want a book from here, you go through me.
when the top level was built. Well, the Empire. They absconded with them. Or so they think. The one... I know of one. Fuck. But I cannot go to it. Not poor Septimus. For I... Here. Well, here as in this plane. Mundus. Tamriel. On the cosmological scale. Well, it's all nearby. One block lifts the other. Septimus will give what you want, but you see this masterwork of the Dwemer, deep inside their Septimus is clever among men, but he is but an idiot child. Lucky then they left behind their own way of reading. In the depths of Black Reach, Have you heard of Black Reach? Cast upon where Drimmer City slept, the yearning spire, hidden learnings, under deep, below the dark, of Tand, the point of puncture, of first entry. Delve to its limits, but not all can enter there. Only Septimus knows the hidden key to... 2 things I have for you, 2 shapes. The round one for tuning. Dwemer music is soft and subtle, and the edged lexicon for inscribing. To us, a hunk of metal. Find Mazark and its sky dome. The machinations there will read the... Trust Septimus. He knows you can know. The deepest doors of Dwemer listen for singing. It plays the attitude of notes proper for open. To glimpse the world inside an elder scroll can damage the eyes or the mind. The Dwemer found a loophole, as they always do. To focus the knowledge, place the lexicon into their contraption, and focus the knowings into it. When it brims with glow, bring it back, and Septimus can read once more.
Let's just get out of here. Hasn't there been enough death?
Of course you want me to leave. Just waiting for me to turn my back, so you can have all the glory for yourself. What was that?
Hello? Who's there? Where'd you come from?
Victory is yours! I submit! I fought.
I'm going to enjoy it!
I'm okay with the dark.
Yes, how may I serve you, milady? I am afraid I won't be able to help you with the scrolls any longer, milady. Please do not be angry with me. I'm afraid in my haste to read the first scroll, I neglected the time I needed to prepare. The failure is purely mine to bear. As you can see from my bandages, it's not that I am unwilling, it's that I am physically unable. Oh, please, milady, please, forgive me. If only such a miracle existed, I'd overcome the impossible in order to secure it. Although I would gladly die by your hand, perhaps I could offer an alternative way to read the scroll. Oh, thank you, milady. Scattered across Tamriel are secluded locations known only as Ancestor Glades. There's one in... Performing the ritual of the Ancestor Moth within the glade should provide the... It involves carefully removing the bark from a canticle tree, which will in turn attract... Once enough of the moths are following, they'll provide you with the second sight needed to decipher the scrolls. In keeping with tradition, you must use a specific tool in the Ancestor Glade. Every moth priest is taught this ritual, but few ever get the chance to perform it. You should consider yourself fortunate if it works for you. From what I saw in the vision, the Elder Scroll which foreshadows the defiance of the gods with the blood of mortals is the key to the prophecy. Sadly, yes. It is the It generally does not occur until a moth priest is in his latter years, but in my case, deciphering one of the Elder Scrolls is nothing like reading a simple. It can take months or even years to complete a single scroll, and even then, months to recover. Fortune smile upon you, milady.